Hello. All right. Can you guys see my screen? All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sprint 2 tournament stream. If you guys haven't met me, my name is Elizabeth. I'm one of the devs. I'm WFLMS on Discord and GitHub. So maybe some of you guys have seen me around. And yeah, this is going to be Sprint 2, and I guess I should just start playing the matches. So our first match today is going to be Wee Wee Baguette versus Foul Owls. All right. Yep. So this is going to be on the map Pillars, and I actually don't know why this is named Pillars. Do any of you guys know? Yeah, and joining with me today, our other streamers are going to be Andy, Pranali, and Jerry. Do you guys want to say hi?
Hello, I'm Jerry. This is my face. Now you can see my face. Hello.
Okay, everyone already knows what you look like, Jerry, or they should know what you look like by now.
Pranali and Andy, you want to say hi?
Hi, I'm Pranali.
I'm Andy.
All right. How do I speed this up again? Yep, so this is, we have Wee Wee Baguette in red on the top left corner, and then Foul Owls in blue on the bottom right corner. And as we can see, Wee Wee Baguette has demolished Foul Owls' base. So then we go to the next match, which is on the map Highway. I guess it's called Highway because there's an X, I guess it looks like a highway across the map. And then look at they're like lead deposits scattered across the map. We can see both teams are sending troops to the middle, avoiding the high rubble area on the sides. Ooh, look at these troops are sneaking over to find Wee Baguette's base. Let's see. It doesn't seem like either team has that many miners out. Most teams just have soldiers out first.
Yeah, it looks like Wee Wee Baguette has taken control of the center here and is now sort of looking at that lead deposit at the top.
It looks like they are now the soldiers are willing to enter the high rubble area, perhaps to find a more efficient path to blitz the other team's base.
Yeah, unfortunately going down to the bottom left, which is
I'm not sure why
defended.
they're not taking the highway, but probably should have just taken the highway, but
yeah. Looks like they're just destroying this Archon, and the top left Archon isn't well defended.
Yeah, so Foul Owls, one of their Archons has already been obliterated, and I believe Wee Wee Baguette is now sending soldiers to find the last Archon.
Yeah, so just looking at the gold graph on the left, or the lead graph on the left, is just seems pretty doomed for Foul Owls here.
Yeah, look at this. Now it is over like that, and the next map is going to be chessboard. As you guys can see, this is a very square board-like structured map. I think a lot of us had quite a bit of fun making all kinds of different maps. So if I open Discord now, is it gonna pop onto the stream like last time? Did you guys see my Discord?
On which screen you're sharing.
Did you guys see my Discord flash over for like a bit? Because someone just added me on Discord, but
I don't think it should.
Yeah, Elizabeth, you're streaming from round 1. That means you're going to be streaming like 256 matches.
All right, time to speed this up. Oh, how do I not start from round 1? Do I just skip a bunch?
You should press the left square bracket and start from game 204 or something.
Left square bracket, where do I do that?
Okay, you've already done that. You see the text box under upload? All right,
yes.
You type, I think, 204, enter. And this takes
cool.
you to 204, game 204. And you
cool.
starting from round 1.
This is, which round is this? Is this like the second round?
This is round 5, which is where we intended to start this stream from. So welcome to round 5.
My apologies, guys. Thank you, Nathan, for calling me out on Discord. That's what my notifications were about, I'm assuming. Okay, cool. So now we have Kryptonite versus Meteor.
So round 5 is a round of 16. So we have the top 16 teams from round 5. I think it's a round of 16 at least, maybe 32. 16.
Yep. And we are back on the map pillars. I still have no idea why this is called pillars. Is it just because they're like
there's like the
around?
pillars, I think. The
I
pillars
think
of
down
purple.
view of pillars, don't you think?
Oh my goodness, Kryptonite is moving their archons into
moving their archons into the
Wait, this
enemy
actually
phase.
doesn't, this seems like a pretty good strat, not gonna lie.
It looks like they did somehow the pillars got rotated over.
Also, do you want to slow it down a bit?
I sped it up on purpose, but I guess I can slow it down.
Matches tend to go pretty quickly most of the time.
All right, this seems like a reasonable speed.
Yeah.
Cool. So once again, this time we have highway at the map again, and we have Kryptonite in blue on the right side, and
like Kryptonite's moving archons again.
Dude, he moved his archon to a lead deposit. That's pretty smart.
I guess he's just, it's a little exposed here now, though.
That's true. I think they might get discovered soon.
I guess he's just creeping both archons up.
I guess he's just moving his entire like troop formation up together, which seems pretty effective.
Looks like both people are just using miners and soldiers here.
You know what they say in chess about controlling the center of the board. I
Yeah.
think moving your archons.
Yo, his archon is going to be his archon.
It's just like the bomb cloud opening chest.
The archon died because it was too far up, but it's okay. They got the other one.
Just over though.
They got the other one, so yep, this is now over.
I mean, everyone knows the bomb cloud opening of chess, right? You just you move your pawn up, and it's like king e2. You start moving a king to the center of the board. If your king's in the center, it's like.
And here's chessboard. We'll see if it happens.
Yeah, no one saw anything. I did not misclick or anything.
Yeah, and in this case, they have two kings, so they can distract with one while the other is in the middle of the board.
Once again, Kryptonite moving their archons.
I guess Kryptonite just favors the strategy of moving archons towards the center until, I guess I suppose it allows them to just spawn soldiers faster.
And heal soldiers in battle.
Yeah, exactly. Looks like they've discovered the bottom right archon here, and then they're about to destroy it, perhaps.
They didn't move one of their archons this time. They only moved one of them.
They did. So the archons are just face to face here. So they've just completely taken over the bottom right.
See, there's a gold here, but no one picked it up. It still doesn't look like anyone cares that much about building labs or making gold. And yep, that other archon has now been destroyed. So Kryptonite wins 3-0. Congratulations. And next we have forcefully boosted kids versus hardcoders. All right, so we are on this map again.
Looks like they're just fighting over control of the center here again. Hardcoder is moving their archons again. Seems like this seems to be a pretty popular strategy.
Yep.
I believe the first anomaly just happened.
Oh, yes.
I think
We haven't. Oh, these maps don't have the vortexes. I want to see a vortex.
I think vortex occurred in a previous match where suddenly pillars were warped over onto a team's archons.
Oh, I suppose I was not paying enough attention. Okay, but like,
it's like the very end of the match, so it didn't really affect anything.
Oh, okay. Oh, so like if you. Oh, okay, I see it now. Yep.
So red team is just underneath a bunch of rubble now.
So the team that moved their archons now. Fortunately, oh, maybe that's why they moved it, because they saw in the schedule that the rubble would come, so then they just.
Yeah, I think moving archons is definitely good for avoiding the sudden rubble warps, as well as the spawning soldiers and miners at the front line. Looks like Hardcoders is just running down forcefully boosted kids now and destroying their archons.
All right, I have been notified that maybe I'm running an older version of the client, so I'm just gonna. Can I not refresh this?
You shouldn't be on an older version. The website should be the latest version.
Yeah, Gaurav said I might have had like an.
Interesting.
Yep. Oh, see, this is a new one. Now it has the health displayed. Cool. All right.
Oh.
Nice. We haven't watched this one, right?
We have health. All right.
I know.
I believe archons can also heal the units. So moving the archons up actually will help out with the fights, since the units will be receiving healing as they fight. Thank you to Maxwell Jones 14 in chat for leaking these strategies.
Okay. Wait, did this green just turn purple for a second, or?
Yeah, that's the anomaly.
I think is an anomaly occurring.
Oh shit! Nice display.
Although I guess this map seems pretty symmetric, so if a vortex does occur, it wouldn't really be noticed.
Oh yeah, I feel like it just, unless it's a rotate. No, this is not rotationally symmetric. Yeah. You can't rotate. It would just like flip it this way, I think. Oh, another anomaly, I'm guessing. Yep. This Soul Little Miner mining gold. Hey, someone built a tower.
We finally have our first watchtower.
Yo, this tower got upgraded too, I think.
Yes.
Click on it.
So I suppose they're just going to camp their archon next to that watchtower for safety now.
Oh, now the tower's moving.
They're moving the watchtower.
There's a gold here. Oh, yo, this guy mined some gold. Hey, forcefully boosted kids has some gold now. Unfortunately, the watchtower is not enough to fend off the increasingly larger army.
Yeah, it looks like Hardcoders is just trying to defend this little corner of the map here. But eventually, it looks like the lead difference is starting to increase here with forcefully boosted kids mining the entire map out.
Yep. All right, I think I'm gonna speed this up a little bit, see how it goes. Another anomaly happens. The watchtower is gone. The soldiers are losing HP. And
yeah,
I think
that's just a match.
Yeah,
as we expected.
Put up a good fight, but
so it brings it to 1-1 here. Each team winning one game.
Wonder who's gonna win.
Looks like they're moving the archons already, straight to the center of the map.
I think the archon has found a spot of low rubble to sit on while it spawns other units.
Strategy seems to be working very well since
my money's on Hardcoders.
Completely running through this game. Yeah.
The people that move their archons will win. Change my mind.
Some people in chat asking to slow the match back down. Although I guess this match is probably about to wrap up.
Yeah. Looks like it's about over. I'll play the next one slower then. All right. Yep. I believe that Archon is not staying alive for much longer. And then we have young cat. Oh, look how cute this map is.
Yeah, looks like there's a giant line of lead in the middle and also on the sides here.
And then some amount scattered on the young cat's Pop-Tart body.
The Archons are flush. The forcefully boosted kids moving their Archons already. So are the hardcoders.
Yep. It does seem strictly beneficial to find some area of lower rubble to place your Archons.
Yeah, it looks like hardcoders really.
This Archon went all the way up there.
Yeah.
An anomaly occurs.
Yeah, it seems like forcefully boosted kids just tries to move their Archons to maybe a low rubble area, while hardcoders here is just moving the Archon straight to the front line to heal units.
This other Archon isn't doing anything though. Oh, I think maybe because it just now it's doing.
I'm wondering if maybe they have one Archon go out offensively and the other one sort of a backup plan in case the other one dies.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, seems like a good strategy.
They have a lot of low health troops following this Archon around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems like Red is
Another
taking
anomaly
a lead here. Blue's units are just sort of scattered about the map at the moment.
Yes, hardcoders is moving towards forcefully boosted kids home base.
Yeah, and it seems like forcefully boosted kids Archons are trapped in the rubble there.
It looks like they each have a few miners on the sides mining this lead patch, but
unfortunately I think hardcoders here is just going to destroy the Archons before.
Yeah, I'll speed it up a little bit now then.
Looks like this little wall of rubble is holding up a little bit of a line of defense, but looks like one Archon has fallen.
Yep, and see when they find the last one.
I think they just might have found it with a miner there.
Yeah,
this miner
the
has
miner was
found it now.
Yep.
Looks like the strategy seems to be swarming a big clump of units around your Archon.
Hey, look at this. Is that a...
Dude, that's a sage, right?
Oh yeah, probably. It does look like they moving up towards the Archon.
Yeah.
Killing everything on the way.
Yeah.
This game seems
Yep. And then just like
stone
that,
here.
this game is over. So congratulations to
Oh.
Hardcoders for winning this match 3-1. All right, and next we have Producing Perfection and Blue Dragon. So first match is going to be Pillars, as always. Let's see if they make it to the Vortex.
Seems like on Pillars, teams seem to favor the strategy of just rushing the middle and taking control of these little choke points. That might be hard for the enemy team to go through. Nobody moving their Archons yet, which is
maybe these teams
don't do development.
that.
We'll see what happens at the Vortex.
Looks like Blue Dragon was able to mine out those lead deposits on the side. They're sort of trying to push into this opening.
I like how Blue Dragon is a blue team. Unfortunately, that won't be true for the next match anymore.
Convenient for the first match. There's a lot of lead in the middle here after all that fighting. Looks like Blue Dragons is the one that's picking it up, which is probably just going to snowball this lead.
Yeah, they've discovered Producing Perfection's home base. All their Archons clumped together. And if everything goes as we expect, this match is over very soon. Yep.
Oh, I believe the mouse cursor is a bit larger on the actual stream than it is.
Oh, like my mouse?
Yeah, I'm not sure why.
I'll leave it on the side then. That's kind of funny, actually.
Yeah, so it looks like they're just running straight for the center as always with this map. Both of them sort of picking a side with.
Hey, they're all taking the highways.
Yeah, but
Luckily,
still
not
not
this-
much Archon movement.
Yeah, so it seems like these two teams are both in favor of not moving their Archons.
Yeah.
Red team sort of pushing into the middle here a bit stronger. Looks like on the lead graph, red team is sort of dwindling their resources at the moment in favor of just producing more miners and very low health soldiers who are just running away at low health to be healed.
This healing mechanic is pretty nice, huh?
I think red team is pushing towards that top right Archon. Maybe they discovered it earlier. Certainly now they've discovered it, so.
Yeah,
like
it does seem like it.
Trying to defend that.
The blue dragon, which is now the red dragon, is inching closer and closer to the enemy's Archon. Actually, never mind. Producing Perfection is putting up a good fight, especially on the bottom side of this map.
Yeah, it looks like they're sort of trading sides here. Lead is actually really balanced here, but it seems like red has blue dragons has a lot more units on the field. So that's the top right Archon falling on the other side of the map, and the gold collected. The gold graphs always look pretty funny since people only get the golds in bursts. So if you look at the gold graph on the left, it's just cliffs.
Yeah, it's a nice representation.
Blue Dragon spent the gold somewhere. I can't really tell where they spent it. Maybe to upgrade a unit.
Possible. And
they
they're now
built a
reaping.
sage over in the bottom side.
Yep. Seems to be reaping the benefits of such. And now we are onto the map chessboard. And Blue Dragon is once again the blue team.
I wonder if a lot of teams are moving their Archons so that their Archons don't get discovered. Just via like symmetry of the map. So maps are guaranteed to be symmetric, so they can make a reasonable assumption of like where enemy Archons might be.
Yeah, and this year, different from previous years, the origin is always 0-0. So to make the anomalies like vortexes easier for people to be able to expect what's gonna happen. So that then if you know where your Archon is, then you can immediately calculate where the enemy Archon is, because you also get the map's dimensions. However, if you move your Archons, then this will no longer hold true. So that's probably why a lot of people are moving their Archons.
Producing Perfection seems to just be taking over this match here. Completely rush the center and holding on to a really big lead here. Actually just completely destroying this bottom right Archon and any miners it's trying to produce.
Yeah, it's found both Archons now, definitely.
Yeah, and now the soldiers are sort of just camping over this wall and destroying any units.
Yep, and it seems like this match is about to be over. Oh wow, so, that Archon surviving a surprisingly long time, but eventually is over. And now we are onto the Nyangkat map again.
So not a complete sweep. Blue Dragons taking 2, but Producing Perfection managing to fight back and get a match before the 4th game. Looks like both teams have discovered that deposit on the top right. The miners are about to bump heads.
Producing Perfection also seems to discover the lower left one.
Yeah. I'm wondering if maybe they use some kind of symmetry rules to discover where the lead might be, or if they just happen to wander that direction.
Producing Perfection has moved their Archons to low rubble places, but Blue Dragon hasn't.
Looks like Producing Perfection does actually favor moving Archons in certain situations.
Yeah, this map seems like an especially good one for moving Archons because you can also kind of hide in that area.
Yeah, and any
over
troops
here
produced. Yeah, any droids produced inside the face of the Nyangkat are just trapped there, whereas moving the Archons will actually let them spawn outside.
Yep, if you spawn something here, you can immediately like walk around this low rubble area.
It's like Producing Perfection might be able to take this match as well, bringing it to 2-2. They're currently holding on to a decent
Ooh, and
lead
then you
lead
guys
and
will get to see the last map that of this round that we haven't shown yet. If I speed it up a little bit,
looks like both teams have quite a bit of lead.
yeah,
although
they have both
now-
been mining this side, the lead deposits.
Yeah,
but
they're
yeah,
now producing perfection, cashing in, and just producing
pushing
tons
their
of
soldier
units.
lead. They have a lot of soldiers compared to Blue Dragon.
Yeah. So the lead graphs on the left are actually even more inflated than they look, considering that there's the units themselves.
Yeah,
That's our
the game's difference might just be because producing perfections Archons get so many more turns than Blue Dragons over the course of the game. And
Yeah.
yep, you see Blue Dragon being forced to the side. And now we will be going to our 5th match of this round, where Blue Dragon will once again be the Blue Archon. And this is
Blue
on the
Dragon-
map Tower.
This is a much smaller map. I wonder if here Blue Dragon might be able to just win the game, since it seems like the previous two producing perfection were able to take the lead just by moving their Archons around.
If I speed up a match, is the next match also double speed, or does it go back? Because I am not.
I think it carries over, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
Looks like Blue Dragon here just has a ton of miners and a single soldier running around, whereas producing perfection just rushing with a lot of soldiers.
Oh
I
no,
suspect
he's about to get
maybe
fouled.
This
it's
could
going to
be.
favor them, since this is a tiny map with only one Archon, and just the soldier rush strategy is favored here.
Yeah, I wonder if teams are communicating the number of Archons they have.
Looks like they're going to pull off a reverse sweep here.
The teams know how many Archons they have.
Oh,
Given-
you're right. There's a num Archons thing. I wrote that. I should know that.
It looks like there's a complete
there you
reverse
go.
sweep here. Producing perfection getting 3 games after 2 losses.
All right, congratulations, producing perfection. Good job. And next we have Wololo versus JDK, more like IDK. I like your team's name. This is JDK team. And I believe Wololo is one of our competitors from last year as well. A lot of these team names are really familiar. It's good to see familiar names. I would say
Yeah, it looks
familiar
like,
faces, but I can match faces to names, yeah.
Looks like Wololo is favoring the Archon up meta here, but JDK is keeping the stationary Archons. Although Wololo nearly losing an Archon because they moved it up so far.
No, sometimes it'd be like that.
Yeah, all of their Archons are so close. We'll see how that works out for them.
I wonder, it looks like Wololo is taking the lead here, but if they lose an Archon, they might end up losing later fights, just since they have one less Archon to heal their units with. Yeah, so it looks like Wololo just destroying the Archons now.
Destroying
Yeah.
Archons is good strat.
Yeah, the goal of the game is to destroy the enemy's Archons. So
All right,
suppose it would be
no,
the best
you're
strategy.
back onto the highways map.
Looks like both teams just spawning a ton of miners, but Wololo is actually accompanying their miners with some soldiers. Looks like both teams are actually doing that. I think Wololo is about to discover JDK's Archon in the top left. Although it looks like their soldiers are
That is
taking a wrong turn.
Extremely early.
I think
almost.
that soldier might have discovered it. It got pretty close to the Archon.
Yeah, I think they found
it's
it.
just
They definitely found it now.
Meanwhile, in the middle of the
failing
map,
to click.
miners are fighting or getting struck.
Yo, the Archon is now finally building soldiers to defend itself.
After being discovered, it now needs to build some defenses.
Still building miners though.
Yeah, it looks like Wololo is just rushing the center here. Wololo also moving their Archons once again.
Yeah, maybe the one that should move the Archons is JDK more like IDK since the Archon got discovered already. So I guess it's pretty happy sitting there between the lead deposits.
Wololo's about
it
to
seems to
lose
be
their
improved.
Archon here, so
Oh, that's true.
maybe moving it
This
up
is not the
didn't
correct spot
favor
to put
them
your
since-
Archon.
Yeah,
they
No one
just,
has built labs yet, right?
No, I think the main source of gold, from what I've seen, is just destroying enemy Archons or your Archons being destroyed. Wololo actually being punished for moving their Archons so far up.
Yeah, that
yes, look at
Archon
this
that
one.
was
This one's
discovered.
also getting caught.
Seems fine.
Seeing
So
the
They have,
downsides of the Archon
moved
strategy.
into the left side of the map, which is JDK's area. All right, I guess moving your Archons not necessarily game-winning strategy.
Looks like we're seeing some downsides here. So bring it to 1-1. I guess we'll see how the strategies pan out. Wololo already moving both Archons straight to the center here. And they've now been discovered. Oh, okay, just want like 7-8 soldiers to wipe out that bottom right Archon. Losing the left Archon here though.
That's extremely fast.
Giving JDK some gold to use, but JDK trading their bottom right Archon in exchange for this. Maybe they'll be able to defend this actually, creating a little rush of soldiers.
Yep. As we can see on the left side, good Archon summary here. There's 2 healthy ones, 1 dead, and 1 of them is almost dead. But will it actually die though? Guess we'll find out.
JDK's taking the lead in this match, able to heal up the Archon on the bottom right, or spawn some more units from the bottom right Archon, which just barely survived. Now
This
they're
has
taking
more.
a huge lead.
Yeah, and has more units overall too.
I don't see where they spent their gold though. I'm not seeing any sages anywhere, and I suppose they must have upgraded one of their units, perhaps upgraded the Archons. JDK looks like they're just going to run over this match now that they've sort of eliminated that bottom right Archon and taken control of the entire left side of the map. So bringing it to 1-2 here. JDK not moving their Archons, taking the lead.
Oh, and now we're on the Nyancat map again.
Wonder if Wololo gets an advantage here since this map really punishes not moving your Archons.
You immediately see them move their Archons to the side.
Hiding in the
that
corner.
spawned pretty quickly. Spawning
So
a bunch of soldiers very quickly.
Maybe Wololo moving their Archons can bring this to a 2-2 and bring it to a 5th match. Although it looks like JDK is really just taking control of these center deposits and about to discover these left deposits with that miner.
Oh no.
Looks like they're about to rush down this Archon.
Oh, the Archon's
Wololo
coming back.
Moving their Archon back. Maybe trying to provide assistance, but unfortunately just not finding enough lead deposits to secure a lead, and JDK just completely running over this game with the discovered lead deposits.
Oh no, Wololo's moving their second Archon right to the heat of the action.
Wololo just out of lead and out of units. Looks like the game is wrapped up here with a 3-1 for JDK in a second. Unless Wololo is able to pull off a miracle comeback.
Yeah. Looks like JDK gets some gold, finds the second Archon that Wololo moved back. And then in this game, neither of them discovered the lead deposits on the side. I guess they didn't explore that much.
So
I think it actually ends 3-2, but congratulations, JDK, more like IDK. Next, we have 5 Musketeers versus Printf.
It's like downside of moving the Archons. Wololo last game just took a complete lead while the Archons couldn't build units.
Yeah, that's true.
It's true.
You know, sometimes it happens.
Interesting line there.
Moved their Archons into a line. Just an interesting strategy. Perhaps
all
they're just looking for
together.
Yeah. And while 5 Musketeers moving one Archon up, looks like they're moving a second one up now. taking control of the center and just.
They have control of most of the map at this point. All the lead deposits on the sides that unfortunately Printf has not been able to secure. They do have one miner stranded out here though.
The 3 Archons are just healing the soldiers up during the fight, so it looks like they're just completely favored here.
Oh, that's true. I guess that's something that's good about having your Archons close to the fight, moving them to the fight because they can heal them.
They moved all their units up, and now they're losing a lead. I think this might be a comeback here by Printf.
But if we get to the vortex
deposits and whittle them down.
Because they got to keep all the lead deposits.
All right, so now Printf really getting punished for not moving their Archons. It's trapped in the rubble. And I think that is a reverse comeback here, where it looked like Printf was going to take the lead, and then all of a sudden, 5 Musketeers.
Hey, there's a Sage coming over.
Saved by this anomaly schedule that unfortunately Printf didn't inspect carefully enough.
You know, you should have saw it coming because everyone gets the anomaly schedules. Although I guess if you didn't explore that half of the map, you wouldn't have known.
Printf didn't explore enough of the map and realized that they're about to get teleported upon by a bunch of rubble.
Well, they still have one soul miner out here trying to find his way back home. But now we are on to the second game on Highway.
It's a pretty exciting last match. Very close back and forth where it looked like my Musketeers was just going to completely roll it over, and then 2 consecutive miracles coming one after the other. Looks like Printf is in favor of grouping their Archons. They're doing this last game too, where they just have their Archons stand in a line.
It does look like they're pretty attached to this. In the middle of a lead mine too, which it seems pretty good.
Yeah. I think 5 Musketeers, where did their second Archon go? I can't find it on the map. Oh, it's over in the rubble, wandering along the highway here. Yeah, Archon's not able to produce units while it's moving around, though. It needs to find a place to settle down.
Wait, how are they making the lead deposit bigger? I'm confused. Can you put lead there?
Artificially?
Oh, they're suiciding.
I think they're killing their units and
I think they're suiciding. Yeah, they're suiciding to make the lead deposits because the lead deposit grows every turn.
Yeah, unfortunately, just a little bit too slow with that. The strategy sort of takes a lot of time to reap the benefits,
but they do have like a strong base here. They can probably hold off this attack for a bit.
Yeah, I guess the strategy seems to be pretty high risk, high reward, and saw that last match where they're able to turn the match around with, I guess, a bunch of lead deposits just located around their Archons.
Oh yeah, and their Archons are on like low rubble areas too. They are really holding it off for a while. They have so much lead.
Yeah,
they have,
looks like unfortunately losing a lot of their deposits there since 5 Musketeers sort of rushed in and grabbed up a lot of the lead.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like they have enough units to fully profit off this large lead deposit. Maybe if they suicided a little bit less and spent more of their resources building miners to actually harvest the lead, that would have been like a really good strategy.
They might actually be able to come back here.
I'm gonna speed it up a little bit.
They are taking control. It looks like they're slowly pushing out.
Yeah,
we have another anomaly
just
coming
gonna
up.
Retake control of the units. They're surviving on the gamble
massive
here.
lead deposits.
Yeah, those lead deposits are just going to be huge as soon as they cash those in.
Yeah, there's like hundreds of lead. They built a Sage.
I think
this could turn.
Just completely taking over the game once again. Laboratory just camping that little bottom left corner where nobody's going to be able to find it.
Oh, this
and where it's far from everyone.
They have a lab.
And looks like 5 Musketeers really losing out late game as soon as they've mined out all the lead deposits around the map. And
they made a lot of gold.
Yeah,
it's a lot of stages
taking over.
They have so much lead. They have
I wonder
a lot
what
of
anomaly
gold.
they're using.
Is the game over? Oh, the game's over because it hit round 2000.
I see. So
I believe
game actually
Printf
goes
wins.
to Printf.
Printf for having more gold and shit. So congratulations, Printf. This is a cool strategy. I kind of like it.
I guess we're seeing two strategies clashing here with the Archon rush versus the farming strategy here. It looks like farming is
and let's see if they decide to employ the strategy again. It's definitely favored on like larger maps or whatever where you have more time.
I think so, especially if there's less lead deposits naturally, they can sort of just create their own lead deposits. The Archons just made their way over. I think they're just going to sit in a line now.
Yeah, I think blitzing the enemy base is always good when the map is really small.
Yeah, it'll be tough for them.
I can't tell what units they're sacrificing to make those. They're making
they were
builders.
sacrificing builders. They were sacrificing builders.
So I wonder if that has to do with maybe how much builders cost in lead compared to other units. Maybe it's more lead efficient to sacrifice builders. Although 5 Musketeers
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure it's just 10% no matter what.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe, or maybe, but we do like a ceiling function or something. So maybe builders might be more efficient. Time to evaluate
farming's
that.
not working here though, since 5 Musketeers just rushed them down before they could set up a proper farm. Archon strategy is fighting back.
Yeah, it seems like if you want to do the strategy, maybe you should move your Archons to like some random spot with low rubble and then set up a deposit there. It seems like on these maps where the enemy team knows exactly where you are and they just come straight for you, it doesn't work as well. But
yeah, I wonder if farming works here. And it seems like the Nyan Cat matches are pretty long, usually. It seems like Highway and Nyan Cat seem to have pretty long matches every time, whereas Pillars and if this does go to a game 5, the map is pretty small. So I think 5 Musketeers might be able to rush down the opponent. So game 4 really being a deciding factor here.
This is an interesting strategy, not one we've seen before.
Yeah. Where's Printf's Archons is sort of just doing a dance in the bottom. Is that a bug? It's not able to produce units while it's doing that little dance. I think Printf might be losing to a bug in their code here.
Yes. I wonder what's happening.
Absolute disaster. That Archon having trouble with its pathfinding algorithms, trying to find its way to the other Archon, but just trapped in an infinite loop of left-right dance moves.
Oh yeah, that does seem like it might be what's happening. Feels bad.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. Printf missing a bug in their code.
As I always say, sometimes it happens.
Looks like 5 Musketeers just going to close it out 1-3. Although I do believe if it went to the 5th game, 5 Musketeers would be favored with their Archon rush strategy since. Oh, it looks like that's finally free.
Because that one died, so now it's going somewhere else.
Yeah, I think creeping towards the corner where it wants to make a lead farm there. Yeah, but it's a little too late for the lead farm now that 5 Musketeers have just run over the map.
Unfortunate.
Unfortunate.
I think
time for
they wasted probably like 1,000 rounds or 1,500 rounds dancing. So
yeah, I wonder if Printf actually
congratulations
together.
You guys take this round. Next we have Smite versus unrecognized team name. I'm gonna recognize your team name. So starting on the Pillars map once again.
Looks like both teams with stationary Archons, at least for now while they're getting resources.
Yep.
I can't tell if that farm.
This miner just looks like farmed all this lead. Not leaving
it looks
any.
like all the same things happening on the top right, except that miner is running away now. Yeah, it looks like neither team is employing a farm strategy or a Archon rush strategy that we saw in the previous few matches here. See how this one turns out, maybe a bit differently. Looks like lots of the lead in the center here. Smite taking control of that lead and just accelerating their lead lead, while unrecognized team name is a little trapped in the corner here. Since the lead deposits on the side have been mostly mined out by this point. Putting a lot of miners in the middle here seems to be working very well. And here's the vortex anomaly, trapping both teams' Archons. A little luckier for Smite, one of their Archons got away untrapped. Perhaps that's going to end up being a deciding factor here, not looking out and Oh, actually, unrecognized team name moving their Archons out here. So
Yeah,
perhaps that's
just
going
like
to end up
that'll
turning
hurt.
the tide. I think unrecognized names sort of with a comeback here. Able to move their Archons out of those rubble and actually make use of the rubble here, the anomaly.
Yeah, that vortex on this map, it can be a game changer.
Yeah, we've seen two teams just lose games over this vortex now. So I wonder if maybe teams need to look more into the another vortex.
I misclicked.
occurred.
No, I
never
misclicked.
mind.
I didn't click on where I wanted to see am I not allowed to? Okay, cool. I'm just gonna speed it up until it catches up to where we were watching.
I think this is where we were, and yeah.
Yes.
Unrecognized team name. Just
See, I don't
interacting to the vortex.
remember which color is which anomaly, and I wanted to know. So
I just noticed whenever the entire screen just changes rubble.
yeah, okay. We know the purple one is vortex, so we see two vortexes coming up over here, but wonder
What's
what
going
the
on
other
here?
ones are.
Looks like Smite reaching the lead sources here a lot faster with the miners.
Indeed.
Can't really tell which team is a bit more offensive here with their soldiers. I think unrecognized team name has more soldiers here, as you can see, 22 to 15 on the left side here.
Yeah, and they found the middle lead mines earlier, but you see fights starting to break out on Smite's side of the map.
Although lead on the left is not being used by unrecognized team name, whereas Smite has discovered that lead deposit on their own side. Looks like it won't matter too much with unrecognized team name just rushing them down here through not the highways, but these sort of rubble areas on the top and bottom. Looks like Smite's able to defend these highways, probably because they're on low rubble area, while unrecognized team name fighting on high rubble at a natural disadvantage. And that actually might help them turn the game around here. They're able to collect the lead on these separate areas without any risk.
Yeah. Both teams have their Archons pretty safe in the corners. No one has really tried to blitz the other team's base. I'm gonna speed it up a little bit to see how it goes.
Looks like
they're still just fighting over the lead deposits.
Also in the top, it looks like Smite won that bottom fight, but there's still a pretty big fight going in the top. But unrecognized team name losing control of the lead and just getting pushed back slowly here.
Yes.
And,
look.
Yeah,
the
Smite has a
bottom left Archon is getting attacked right now.
Yep.
And the top left one is also getting attacked. I believe this match is going to go to Smite.
Miners being deployed from Smite. I'm not sure why those miners are being deployed so aggressively while they're attacking enemy Archons.
I think they gave up on attacking enemy Archons.
Those miners are standing still. Is that a bug?
That's a lot of miners from
It's a lot of miners
Smite.
And they're standing still. I think unrecognized team name actually going to turn this around because looks like
Smite might have a miner bug. Yeah,
Smite has a miner bug. Spawning way too many miners here.
I wonder, Smite, are you guys watching the stream? Because I don't know. If you're watching a stream, you should type something in chat because I want to know. But anyways,
I think they said it's a bug they introduced right before submission.
If
I know.
Tough.
Yep. Okay. So
sometimes it happens.
Unfortunate last-minute bug losing the game here, right on the brink of victory.
Hey, it's only sprint, and sprint doesn't matter. So
it's true. Now we know.
Yep.
So it looks
All
like
right.
this
I guess
is
we've seen multiple bugs
low.
from multiple teams that exhibit interesting behavior.
We have our dancing Archon in addition to our frozen miners. Looks like there's some really weird interweaving of units going on here in the center.
Yep.
For some reason, unrecognized team name, a little smart, just tucked their Archons one unit to the left off of the high rubble, while Smite leaving their Archons on the high rubble there. might end up being a turning factor here, losing their top left Archon, it seems. Although I think Smite's back with the bug. I don't think those miners are actually mining the deposits. I think Smite with bugging out again. I'm not sure if those miners are doing anything.
Yeah, maybe. I think they are just standing there. And if you look at the lead increase, it looks like it might just be the passive increase for a while. So unrecognized team name takes this one as well, I guess. Congratulations to unrecognized team name.
It seems like moving Archon's really big part of strategy, even if you don't rush the opponent with them, at least moving them to a low rubble area.
Yep. And next we have Watch Centaur World versus 404 Not Found. 18404 Not Found. What? So, oh my god, what a class. So we're still on round 5 right now.
Yeah.
Back to players map. I believe round 5 is there's only eight matches in round 5 because it's the quarterfinals, right? That's quarterfinals, and then 6 is semis, 7 is finals? Question mark? Maybe. Or if it's double LM, then there's another finals at the end or something. Guess we'll find out.
Like Watch Centaur World moving up their Archons. Unable to support these units in fight. A miner creeping into the back line there, lost its way and somehow ended up in a foreign land.
Hey, yo, it's a spy.
Yeah, we have the return of the Archons in a line. Well, I think 404 Not Found, if they don't have code that moves their Archons to low rebel areas, might really end up losing on especially the chessboard maps and the Neon Cat map.
Indeed. I'm excited to see those if we get to those.
Yeah, it looks like they're just being, we have our anomaly again, really favoring Centaur World, who's moving around.
Move their Archons out. Yep.
Looks like Pillars is a very common occurrence where teams that don't move their, actually the Archon budged a little just to run away there, but.
Hey, one of them got out, but it might be too little, too late. So, yep. Very soon we see that Watch Centaur World has taken this match. And now we have Highway. I'm gonna go get a cup of water. I'll be back in a second.
All right, I will, I guess, say some things meanwhile. Looks like both teams rushing towards the center here along the highways. Watch Centaur World actually using these side paths along, while 404 Not Found, not really employing them. It looks like on this map, they're actually discovering that bottom left Archon already. And it looks like they're not too far from the top left Archon. Wonder if losing their Archon positions is going to end up disadvantaging 404 Not Found.
Especially.
I wonder what that bottom left or bottom right was Blue Archon is doing, kind of creeping towards the.
Yeah, it looks like it's in a really dangerous place, actually, spawning some soldiers to defend itself.
Yeah. It's going to be tough. It'll have to defend a lot there.
Yeah.
Oh, and it keeps moving. Interesting.
Meanwhile, lots of units in that high rubble area above from Watch Centaur World. 404 Not Found, mainly sticking to these areas which have low rubble. It's like Watch Centaur World set up a little pseudo base in the middle of the map here. I believe that top right Archon is portable. Yeah, it's actually moving around now. It looks like it's maybe moving towards the center of the map to sort of move a line of defense up there. Lead is really getting depleted on this map. Explains a lot why the farming strategy might have worked so well in the previous few games.
Yeah. Watch Centaur World might just lose on turns though, because their Archons have been moving a lot.
Their Archons actually, that bottom Archon surrounded by a ton of low health soldiers trying to heal it up before a fight, but
yeah, just fighting for life.
Yeah, 404 Not Found just very easily defending. Both teams pretty equal in lead, but in units, Watch Centaur World much more soldiers and about an equal number of miners. So Watch Centaur World is ahead in in resources, but perhaps it won't matter if they end up. Actually, looks like they're about to rush this bottom left Archon.
Yeah, it looks like their strategy worked. That Archon stayed alive.
Yeah, and I think a pretty big part of their low health soldiers actually escaping and being healed, saving up on a lot of lead that would otherwise be lost.
Yeah, that was impressive. That top Archon doesn't seem to be doing much for him.
Looks like here, if 404 Knockbound is able to defend against this bottom left push, maybe they can grab a bit of that lead they've left behind and take a lead. But looking a little doomed with so many soldiers just rushing that bottom left Archon right now.
Yeah, and I just sped the plate back up a little bit. We'll see.
Looks like
that
unintentionally being made down there. I'm not sure if that's intentional or not, but there are a lot of lead deposits right there. Yeah, so this is looking pretty over. Not enough units or soldiers to defend against those 32 soldiers from Watch Central World.
Yep, and Center World also has their Archon pretty close, so it can always make new units. Yep. The top left Archon is currently being left alone. It doesn't seem like it's doing anything or that it's getting discovered.
Yeah, not really able to provide reinforcement since it's so far away and paths have been blocked off by Central World soldiers. Central World.
Yeah, I also think they were lacking enough resources for both Archons to be building units, so only the bottom one was building units back then.
I think Watch Central World has finally discovered this Archon, and I was just going to rush it with all of these soldiers. That red miner just lost in the middle of rubble. And yeah, looks like Watch.
As we expect, the game went in the way of Center World, so now we have the chessboard map.
I think looks like 404 Knockdown actually turned that bottom right Archon into a portable and shuffled both of them out. Central World top right Archon is still in that high rubble area, but looks like both Archons are now budging out of their spaces.
Yeah, seems like to be a common strategy. Just move the Archon one off on this map.
Yep. Looks like this map is also. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say it's like because it's on like a medium rubble area, and then there's like low rubble right next to it. Then
yeah, it definitely
people are incentivized to just move it, at least one.
It seems like taking control of these center squares and grabbing all that lead up and just instantly charging your opponent seems to be a pretty popular strategy that's working very well on this map. Worked against both the farming strategy we saw and against this one. There's a sage there somewhere.
Yep. So congratulations, Watch Center World, for winning this round. And next, I believe this might be the last round, the last match in this round, round 5, and it's Yoho or Yohu, I don't know how to pronounce this, versus Baby Ducks. Oh, whoops. No one saw anything. I accidentally skipped it, but now we're back.
Receiving some intel in chat that Baby Ducks sacks Archons. And yes, they indeed just sacrificed 2 Archons. Build some pages. Really an aggressive strategy that might favor them really well in this match since they get 3 Archons instead of just 1 or 2. And
they sack they sack Archons to make gold and sages.
Yeah,
that's an interesting strat.
Pushing up a line of Archons here, but maybe Baby Ducks with their strong early game lead from sacking Archons really going to pay off on this map, especially.
Because it's small and you have enough Archons starting with.
Yep. About to take out another Archon, which is just going to add to their gold reserves now.
Ooh.
They can grab that gold.
They took it.
Their sage and
look at here, another big sage over here.
Looks like we're receiving some sage spam, which is working very well.
The sage died. One of their sage died. So sages died, so there's gold here. But unfortunately,
losing the lead. Looks like they focused a little too much on the gold and forgot about lead.
Yeah. So Yohu is building up their army.
With just 1 Archon to build.
Yeah. Sacking the Archons, getting a really big early game lead, but eventually losing it in favor of a soldier rush.
Yeah, because as we've seen, that healing can be really important too.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
maybe it'll turn out differently on a larger map like this where there's more soldiers and
All right.
AoE sages.
So they already have a sage.
So this
Because
actually
they
only
sacrificed this bottom Archon. I'm excited to see how this turns out. I want to see them mine more lead, keep their early lead.
Yeah, unfortunately, if this does end up going to a game 5, they won't be able to sack any Archon since they only have one Archon on that last match.
It's true.
I think it turns out that yeah, it looks like they're rushing this top right Archon with that Sage. The AoE really pulling in clutch. Let's see the game first here. Oh, okay.
Oh, and they got it.
They're gonna grab up this Archon and make another Sage with that gold. Meanwhile, bought a Yohu really decelerating their growth here by moving that bottom right Archon while their top right Archon is just destroyed. Looks like maybe Baby Ducks are going to take the game here with the Archon sack strat, although they're leaving.
Hey, that's exciting. I like it.
Yeah,
it's a cool strat.
Strategies.
Didn't pick up the gold though.
They do seem
Look
to
at this Archon 1v1ing this tiny
Archon is probably bugging out. I'm not really sure what it's doing there.
It doesn't look like it's hitting the soldier because the soldier.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in portable
dying.
mode, right?
I mean, if it's portable, it can't.
Oh
it
yeah,
can't spawn units either.
That's an unfortunate bug too.
Unfortunate bug.
Oh
but I think
gosh.
the game would have turned out with Baby Duck's victory anyways as soon as they took that Archon.
So this soldier with like basically no health, just 1v1 an Archon.
Yeah.
The danger of moving Archons.
It doesn't stop moving.
Chessboard, Baby Duck's already lost an Archon, well, sacked an Archon for a stage, which is probably not supposed to be frontlining since stages seem to be some more ranged support.
I wonder what they would do if we nerf the Archon such that it doesn't give you enough gold to build a sage.
I mean, it is exciting to see the Archon sack.
I like the strat though, so we probably won't do that.
Yeah,
or if we do, we'll nerf the we'll buff the sage. So it's
bottom left
costless.
Archon is just not moving though. It's on a high rubble area, which might end up costing the match.
It's true. They almost got that Archon, but they defended well.
Yeah, it looks like the rush just barely falling short, and now Yohu is just gonna take the lead here with the better economy.
Yeah, they're so close. They were so close to killing that Archon.
Yeah, if they had gotten that, might have gone differently.
Unfortunately, no strategies using the watchtowers. Hopefully
we saw one watchtower earlier.
Yeah,
or like
but the watchtower also ended up losing. So not sure.
Oh, that was the one that they like built a big lead farm, right?
I think they built it at the. Oh, maybe I'm remembering the match wrong, but I remember they were building at the very end.
Oh wait, no, that was the one with the lab. The lead farm guy built a lab. Someone else had a watchtower, I think.
Baby Ducks.
Once again, here's the sage.
Goes to game 5, if they win this game and go to game 5, they'll have to pull through with other means since last map only has one Archon that can't be sacked.
I want them to win because I want to see what they do on game 5.
I really want to see this strategy against other
Pray for Baby Ducks.
Strategy.
Sack their one Archon.
Yeah, I wonder if this strategy just defeats the farming strategy really well with an early game rush. Unfortunately, I think this match is not looking so good for Baby Ducks.
Yeah, they're also not.
The sage died. No.
Okay, so they've lost their gold here now. Yohu with the lead lead. And they're cashing in on tons of soldiers and moving the Archons up offensively. Looks like this might be the end for the Archon sack strat for now. Maybe it'll come up in another future.
We'll see. Yeah, looks like Yohu also has, or Yoho, whatever, has all of the lead deposits on the sides too.
Yeah.
And the other Archon of Baby Ducks has been stuck on this high rubble area, and now it is done. So congratulations to Yoho for winning this round. And I believe now we're moving on to round 6. We have Kryptonite versus Hardcoder. So there are only 4 matches in this round. So we are approximately halfway through the stream, question mark, I think. That's how it works, right?
Sounds right.
Something about the powers of 2.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Alright.
so this round is gonna start with the Nyancat map. We have some of the maps are repeated. As in I think we did A, B, C, D, E, and then like D, E, F, G, H, and then G, H, I, J, K or something like that for the maps. So
We'll get to see more of the small map, the 5th game map. Forget what it's called.
yeah, because that one is rarely used as the deciding one that we show in the streams.
Yeah. Looks like Hardcoder's moving their Archons up again. Kryptonite doing the same. Both of
Yeah,
these.
Kryptonite's Archon got destroyed while it was chilling over here in the middle. Hardcoder has had their icons in a better spot over here that hasn't been discovered.
Both of these teams favor like an Archon, an offensive Archon strategy, but really Hardcoder is coming out on top here.
Yep. And we'll see if Kryptonite will be able to pull it back in this second map, on the smaller map. The tower that we got to see like maybe twice total in the last round.
Yeah, it looks like Kryptonite starting out with more miners than Hardcoders.
Hardcoder's soldiers went in the direction of lower rubble, so it missed the Archon on the other side. So maybe the miner rush will be more advantageous.
Yeah, it looks like Hardcoders grabbed onto that center first, but now they're losing control of it from the sides with Kryptonite pushing in soldiers from each side. I would assume whoever is able to take control of this center-led pal is really at an advantage. Looks like Kryptonite moving its miners to the top right instead, searching out for these 3 lead deposits and picking them up. Hardcoder is trying to force their way into the middle, but getting collapsed on the sides. Kryptonite
but Hardcoder is on Kryptonite's Archon now.
Yeah, and
vice versa.
I think Hardcoder's more lead and more units just going to, if they can close this one out. It looks like their soldiers are trapped in that high rubble area though. Maybe Kryptonite.
And now they're moving down towards Kryptonite's Archon.
Yep, so a bit more of a offensive strategy favored by Hardcoder seems to be coming out on top here. Kryptonite cashing in on these lead deposits right next to them.
I'll speed it up a little bit to see if anything changes.
Actually, it looks like Hardcoder is really unfortunate, losing their soldiers to the rubble. Kryptonite catching them off guard.
Yeah, it seems like they are unable to push their lead quickly, and Kryptonite is actually building up a larger army.
Looks like Hardcoder's having although Hardcoders is rushing in.
They have a lot of soldiers coming now.
Well, it does look like Hardcoders had that momentary weakness there, not really paying enough attention to the rubble end.
Yeah, I think Kryptonite does have more lead. Oh, not anymore.
Yeah, looks like Hardcoder's pushing their lead lead because they have those center lead deposits, not fully mining them out so that they can renew. Seems to be really favoring them here, but they're not playing around the rubble too well and losing a lot.
Yeah, it seems like Kryptonite has good defense. This match is going on a lot longer than I expected it to, but
yeah, Kryptonite holding on really well to the defense, but Hardcoders with a much better economy with control of that center lead. If Kryptonite can maybe hold on and push into that center with some miners, definite way to turn this around.
They are getting a lot of lead on the left side though due to all the fighting. So
yeah, lots of lead deposits appearing due to the fights, and maybe this is going to end up in a comeback here. Hardcoder is so trapped in the rubble on the right, not able to move in as a wave as efficiently, but Kryptonite can defend this wave. They might have a chance to.
Their Archon is slowly dying.
Yeah, Archon slowly.
They don't have much healing for the Archon, unfortunately.
Yeah, although they did manage to hold off this wave. Maybe if they can grab some lead up before the next wave, they can actually renew their defenses here and pull out a victory. But Hardcoder is rushing in with a pretty big wave. Also, the soldiers trapped on the rubble, not actually able to.
Yeah, they're holding this off for a long time. I'm gonna.
A really well.
This is exciting. I'm legitimately not sure how this is gonna go. Although if
I think it just
if the
really depends on if the Archon gets whittled down here.
if the Archon doesn't die, who has more resources?
I think
Probably Hardcoders, right?
yeah, Hardcoders has a lead lead, but they're really, I think if Kryptonite's able to hold this out, they might be able to grab up some of that lead. Although it might hit turn 2000 if Hardcoders can't actually push in here and they're stuck in this infinite loop.
Yeah, a good defense, but
yeah, lots of soldiers there at low health.
Shit, this defense is really good.
Yeah,
I'm
really
impressed.
favorable defensive map here. Hardcoders can only enter through that one choke, and they're not really taking advantage of that upper path. And these soldiers trying to cross the rubble in a wave, just completely getting destroyed because of the rubble and not taking that into account. So this
They're
choke
actually
really
relatively tight, and they've been staying pretty tight in lead. I
Oh,
think Hardcoders has been getting more lead per turn on average, but seems like they're holding.
First tiebreaker might end up going to the amount of lead, right? So
yeah, gold first, but then lead, and
seems like neither teams has gold.
Right.
Yeah, so Hardcoders might win on the tiebreaker here if they can just keep up this steady push and push it to turn 2000. Really close match.
Damn.
Oh, Kryptonite has more soldiers, says.
Oh, Kryptonite actually won on a tiebreaker. All right, congratulations.
Wow.
That was very exciting to watch.
That tiebreaker comes after
impressed.
the soldier tiebreaker. So Kryptonite, amazing defense, just able to hold it off.
All right, new map, everyone. Dodgeball.
Oh, unfortunate we didn't get to see the Archon suicide strategy on this map. I think that would have been pretty interesting.
Oh, yeah.
The 3 Archons in the open map.
Or the farming one. Who has the farming strategy? I don't remember. The one where they just build a farm by sacking builders.
I think the farming strategy is still in, if I remember correctly. They won on a reverse sweep. Although
so we'll get to see them again.
Yeah, I guess we'll see if we'll get reminded in a bit. Let's see. Hardcoders pushing the Archons towards the center set of lead deposits, while Kryptonite a bit slower on the push. As we saw Kryptonite, really good defensive strategy. Hardcoders not really regarding the rubble as well as they should sometimes when they're pushing an offense and really suffering for that. They managed to take out an Archon. They're just grabbing up the gold here. So it looks like they're just chasing down Kryptonite here. Looks like Kryptonite really able to use the terrain better to their advantage, and on certain maps able to favor a better defense.
We see Hardcoders had their Sage coming in. Unfortunately, Kryptonite moved their Archon a little bit too far past the middle line. Now we have Snowflake. This map with 3 Archons, so the Archon sacking strat could actually work.
Really hard to grab lead on this map, it seems. Lead is surrounded by lots of rubble.
Yeah, and it's scattered across. I may or may not have done that on purpose.
Whichever team figures out where to get the lead first, I guess, will take the early lead. Actually, losing an Archon in that bottom side, 4 soldiers hitting the Archon, and Kryptonite not really paying any regard, just losing an Archon immediately.
That's rough.
Well, Hardcoders hasn't moved that one Archon on high rubble, and the other 2 Archons sticking in a pack here.
One of their Archons is moving around over here.
Kryptonite, the left, both Archons have been discovered. I think Hardcoder still has one hidden.
Wait, is the color change of the Archons like with mode they're in? That makes sense.
So the tighter color is importable.
Portable, okay.
Looks like Hardcoders with a really good offense is.
Yeah, and they have their Sage coming in too.
Although maybe if Kryptonite able to hold on, we'll see a miracle like last time, just able to hold on a really strong defense. This map certainly has the rubble for it, so if Hardcoders isn't careful enough with their offense, it looks like they've taken.
Sages.
Sages are just rushing this one down.
Hey, Sages are strong, guys. Build more Sages. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like Kryptonite will be able to put up a defense this time, and the match goes to Hardcoders. Final score is actually 3-2, so it was extremely close, but we'll see if you guys get to see a last map sometime soon. Next, we have Producing Perfection versus JDK, more like IDK. And starting on the Nyancat map again.
I'm getting word from chat that Printf was the farming team, and they unfortunately lost, so we won't be seeing.
Oh no, tragic.
It seems
I'm
like
sad. It's okay. I'll see them again in quals, hopefully.
I guess we'll be seeing a big Archon rush strategy favored now. A lot of teams just doing this strategy seems to be working pretty well. Let's see. JDK moving, keeping their Archon stationary while producing perfection has moved their Archon to these lower rubble areas. Producing perfection also grabbing onto these right lead deposits, getting them some early lead while lots of fighting going on in the middle of the map.
Yeah, it'll be hard for JDK to recover from those two disadvantages.
Although it looks like JDK might be taking the lead graph seems to be pretty equal, although producing perfection more soldiers at the moment. Perhaps if JDK takes control of this center lead, that one miner on the right just farming the lead over and over might not be able to hold on to the economy that they get from multiple miners mining that center lead farm.
Yeah.
Built.
Let's see if producing perfection can put up a lead by having their Archons getting more turns, since JDK more like IDK doesn't seem like they're gonna move theirs anytime soon.
Yeah, it looks like producing perfection really taking advantage of having discovered both of the side farms here for lead and just using them for constant economy, while JDK getting lead from these center deposits, although producing perfection taking control of that. JDK finally discovering that bottom left deposit, although producing perfection has sent 2 soldiers there to defend.
Guard their lead deposit.
Yeah, guard their mine. Looks like producing perfection taking a really big lead on the lead here. Also has control of the lead deposits. I think this match might be a wrap unless JDK is able to pull out a miraculous defense. Soldiers actually able to hit the Archons over the high rubble walls, so unfortunately those not defending very well.
Those lead deposits are coming in a lot of use. Look at that lead lead.
Seems like having more turns does indeed help. Maybe. And we will see that producing perfection takes the first match.
Here, last match, we had a very close fight on this match. Maybe we'll see something similar.
We see JDK more like IDK finding the center lead deposits first.
Putting a lot more soldiers than producing perfection is. Perhaps
seems like they're just backing off when the soldier's coming, which makes sense as miners are definitely cannot 1v1 a soldier.
Yeah, it looks like a pretty big part of this map might actually be holding those rubble walls. Lots of teams trying to just directly cross the rubble instead of going around and really leading them.
Hey, they're going for the Archon on the bottom left.
Yeah, so maybe, I guess we'll see. That's a really big choke in the bottom left when we saw last time. Really
where Kryptonite held up their miracle defense.
Yeah, and that little one choke. So maybe producing perfection can replicate that perfection of a defense there and save their Archon. It looks like they're actually able to
speed it up a little bit.
Yeah. It looks like
it looks like they're putting up a counterattack.
Indeed. Looks like they have a
little now have a lot more units. They are indeed putting up a counterattack.
And now we have a reversed situation, although it looks like JDK losing control of their lead lead early on. This map really seems favorable to teams that build up a really good defense.
Yeah, this lead graph really be like shows you who has the advantage.
Yeah.
Yep, producing perfection did indeed put up similarly perfect defense, and the second match goes to them as well. Next, we have Dodgeball.
Okay. Now this map makes more sense after hearing the name.
It's a court. And these are the balls in the middle that they have to go fight for in the beginning. And as you can see, indeed, they are going for it.
Yeah. Producing perfection, allocating a lot more miners to that bottom left deposit as a farm. While JDK sort of just leaving one miner every farm, it seems. Pushing a really strong early game, but eventually actually Producing Perfection has abandoned their farms in favor of grabbing the middle here. Looks like Producing Perfection puts a lot more focus on actually moving their Archons to low ripple areas, while JDK sort of just leaving their Archons where they are. About to lose that Archon to a huge soldier rush.
Yeah, Loki, I think having your Archons on low rubble area seems to be quite important, especially if it can remain undetected. And it's like, for one, you get like a lot more turns, and for two, it's like you move it so the other team does not immediately know where your Archons are, as opposed to if you don't move it, you can see that Producing Perfection immediately finds JDK's Archons if once it tries to go in that direction. So congratulations to Producing Perfection. You guys are moving out to the next round, which is the semifinals after this, I think. And next we have, oh, so this is quarterfinals. And next one is semifinals. Okay. So next we have 5 Musketeers versus unrecognized team name.
I don't remember which, but I think unrecognized team name last time. I think this is the match where that bottom Archon started dancing, right? I don't remember which team.
Yes.
Fighting that occurred. Maybe we can see some kind of.
It was definitely this map. I just don't remember which team either.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you're making your Archons move, make sure it's bug free.
Yeah, make sure if there's something that prevents it from just dancing an entire match, since unfortunately it seems to be a bug in Pathfinder algorithms. Unrecognized team names looking to push into the middle, while 5 Musketeers sort of holding on to their own young cat here.
Also interesting to see they're fighting over those lead deposits. We saw those were really helpful last.
And it looks like 5 Musketeers was actually farming those lead deposits and not actually extinguishing them. And then as soon as unrecognized team name showed up, they just started taking the lead deposits and leaving nothing behind. Not sure if that's an intentional strategy or if that just happened to occur, but pretty humorous to watch.
Yeah, I mean, a pretty good strategy if it is your strategy.
It seems like unrecognized team names lead income is dropping, while 5 Musketeers is keeping theirs up because they have so much lead now right near their base due to all the fighting.
Huge lead.
And looks like they finished mining like a lot of the lead on the sides. This is the first time we've seen that happen on this map.
Yeah, I think if they're able to hold off this one push and keep control of their Neon Cat, they're going to end up with a ton of lead from that farm. While
yeah, although we do see unrecognized team names coming in and farming their Neon Cat. So this blood graph is picking back up for them.
Unrecognized teammate with a miner just chilling in the back, a little confused on where to go, regrouping with friends.
Hey, look at this. This miner is about to discover this Archon. Oh no, just a little bit off.
Too late, though.
The Archon running away, but it looks like this game.
Oh, it found it. It found it, but it's a little too late. I wonder if they communicated it with the shared array. Unfortunately, the Archon down here is not holding on too well. So, yep, and this match goes to unrecognized team name.
This map, really interesting. We've seen some good matches on it. Both of the two previous ones had a really good defense employed by the blue side team. Ending up with a victory through that method. Maybe we'll see something similar.
Yeah, if you can hold on this map.
Yeah, it looks like on this map, no team has actually been moving their Archons very proactively. Everybody's choosing to just stay put and stay where they are. Maybe they've determined that's a pretty good location to stop at.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good place to defend from, as we've seen.
Yeah, it's on a low rubble area. There's some low rubble around it for the droids that you spawn, but there's also high rubble between you and the enemy Archon.
It looks like holding the center is really strong here. An unrecognized team name not really taking advantage or understanding these rubble wall mechanic here, where 5 Musketeers just camping the left side of the wall. Unrecognized teammate keeps trying to cross with soldiers and just gets farmed since they're on high rubble. So Five Musketeers just staying where there's no lead, but holding a very strong defense since that rubble is impossible to cross if the other team just lines up a wall of soldiers on the other side. But unrecognized team name, much better econ
It's
here.
one minor.
Yeah, I think we might see another great defense here by Five Musketeers, just holding on to the left side and
having a lot of soldiers too.
Yeah, a little lead farm appearing on the rubble wall. Looks like Five Musketeers has deemed it safe to cross the rubble wall when they were wrong since. Oh, actually, they're right. Bottom push of soldiers pushing out the unrecognized team name soldiers. Looks like Five Musketeers now mounting their offense here now that they've built a lead.
Now that we see it like this, I think it's really cool that we have the resource drop thing when robots die, because that means if you're getting attacked and you can hold it off for a while, you're gonna end up with a large lead deposit right near your base.
Yeah,
and
it really favors the comeback mechanic.
Makes for more interesting matches.
Yeah, I think with this map in particular, teams choosing to cross the rubble walls instead of walking around since the path is so long, but not realizing that the enemy team can just camp the other side to avoid them from crossing. Looks like unrecognized team name grabbing control of the center here first in those lead deposits, also moving their Archons out of the high rubble area as well. Five Musketeers still actually shuffling that Archon very close to the center, while unrecognized team name has pushed over to the left side already.
it's a good strat. Yep, yeah. Five Musketeers with their Archons inching up closer to the center, whilst unrecognized team name just moved their Archons barely enough to get to the lower rubble area.
Yeah, it looks like grouping your Archons is really strong for defense here. Triple the healing and only one place to defend in opposition to having three separate Archons.
Yeah, and you also get a large swarm of armies if you try to construct your soldiers. If all of your Archons are constructing soldiers, you get a really big army at once.
Yeah, able to construct units 3 times as fast and really cash in on the
hold up healing as well. I think the downside is just that if they find that swarm, they can find all of your Archons, and if they do end up defeating you, then your entire base is gone.
Also a lot harder to defend further away from the one stronghold, whereas having 3 different bases really lets you spread out across the map and grab different lead deposits.
Yeah, but looks like it's working for Five Musketeers.
Yeah, it looks like Five Musketeers going to go up 2-1 here as soon as they take out these 2 remaining Archons. Really just mounting a strong defense there and pushing a lead from that.
Now we get to see the Snowflake map again. Have we seen the map after this yet? No, right?
No.
Not yet.
Last time they ended on this one, I believe.
All right, we're rooting for unrecognized team name so we can see it last.
Otherwise, we'll see it next round.
Totally. Oh, that's true. Oh yeah, we'll see it next round. Never mind. I'm gonna go back to being an unbiased streamer.
Looks like in this set of rounds, strong defense is really favoring the winner here. While mounting a really strong rush is not as successful as we've seen in the past.
Yeah.
Already attacking that bottom Archon actually.
Yeah, and again, we see unrecognized team name moving into those lower rubble areas as opposed to Five Musketeers. We'll see how that.
Yeah. Looks like one of unrecognized team names Archon still in a very high rubble location, not able to efficiently produce miners or soldiers. Well, looks like unrecognized team names spreading their Archons out and able to take better control of the entire top side of the map, but Five Musketeers moving Archons in a pack, able to really mount a wall of defense around them while they mine resources in a small bubble. About to lose an Archon, just lost the bottom right Archon. So it looks like they'll cash in a Sage with that money. And now attacking the top right Archon, really pushing a strong wave of soldiers each time and grabbing onto these known Archon locations.
Yeah, not looking great for unrecognized team.
Unfortunately, not going to see what's going to occur on the next match since
it'd be like that sometimes. We will see it later. Yeah, so congratulations to Five Musketeers. You guys are also moving on to the semifinals, I believe. And now we have Watch Centaur World versus Yoho. Yoho. Someone should tell me how to pronounce this properly. See if anyone said anything in chat. No one said anything.
The pronunciation. Looks like grabbing onto both teams grabbing onto their own respective lead deposits, although Yohu's sending soldiers there instead of miners, looking to push away this miner from Watch Center World. That's where snuck in there. That miner's just eating up all the lead. You can see Watch Center World using a very smart strategy. On the top right, that miner is actually farming the lead and not fully expending it. But as soon as the miners see an enemy coming nearby, they just start mining it fully so that the enemy can't get it as well. I believe we saw this strategy a few rounds ago.
Let's see if it works.
So really a greedy strategy. As soon as it sees an opponent, it wants to make sure the opponent gets no resources. See the little two miners in the top right just greeting each other and leaving. Watch Center World pushing a strong wave of soldiers into the Nyan Cat of Yohu. Also, their Archons moved quite far up here, marching on towards Yohu's Archons, which is currently being attacked.
We'll see if they get punished for that or if they get to reap the benefits.
Yeah, it seems like Yohu is like too much on defense to attack that Archon.
Yeah, for sure. I believe Watch Centaur World seems like they're gonna kill this Archon pretty soon. So speed it up a little bit, and there we go. The match has ended on round 812. So now we go to this tower map again.
Every time this map is played, we get a really interesting fight. It looks like Yohu, first one to actually move their Archons on this map. Other people just camping that one choke and not actually budging, but Yohu actually decides that the Archon's better off a bit higher up. Maybe it'll end up favoring them here. Watch Center World grabbing control of the center really quickly and once again taking control of one side of the wall and attacking these soldiers that are trapped in the high rubble areas, as we've seen in the past. Looks like Watch Center World is just utilizing these walls much better than Yohu. Actually discovers the Archon there for a second and lands a few hits on it. Seems as if Watch Center World is really taking a lead here. Has about an equal number, has more soldiers and more miners at the moment. Although maybe if Yohu can hold up a defense, we'll see something again. Really, Yohu utilizing this wall really well, preventing any soldiers from crossing and really winning out on fights for the same reason. It seems as if teams utilizing the rubble here really have a really big advantage, and any soldiers trying to cross across that just get instantly obliterated. It seems as if teams aren't really going around the wall and pushing in, but rather just getting trapped on that wall. And seems as if Yohu is able to turn it around here. They're mounting a strong defense, and Watch Center World's troops have not realized that that wall is not crossable if enemy troops are on the other side.
This is one of the first we've seen moving their Archons on this map.
Yeah, and actually moving it right next to that wall really seems to benefit them since that wall is just uncrossable.
Yeah, the soldiers really don't want to go through there. See, the ones that come just immediately die because the Archon sitting here and then the soldiers protecting it right next to it get a lot more turns than the soldiers that try to come across the wall.
Yeah, a little lead farm building up, but I think they're just getting mined out immediately.
The wall is just thick enough such that the soldier has to get into the high rubble area to be able to hit the Archon. This is a very smart place to sit.
Yeah, this is a really intelligent map. Really teams rewarded for playing around the rubble and not actually crossing it if enemy soldiers are camping the other side here.
Yeah, they've been doing a good job with defense, but I don't know if they can have a chance to attack.
Yohu unable to mount their own offense. They have no lead reserves here, and anytime they try to cross around the other side with the soldier, they need to resupply soldiers to the middle due to a push from Watch Center World. I think Watch Center World might end up winning this on a tiebreaker if this just repeats for the next 1,300 turns. If they have more lead and just more resources everywhere. And they're not committing to a push across that wall. So Yohu not really able to stop them either.
Yeah, we're gonna speed up the matches a little more from now on to ensure that we end at a reasonable time. Although I think we're roughly on pace. And I guess we speed it up, and it seems like the same thing is going on around Watch Center World, having much better econ, but unable to mount a
Yeah, I am
large
predicting
enough
Watch Center World to win this, just since they've taken control of this entire left side, and Yohu looks like they're just mining out this lead in the middle, so their economy is sort of going to deteriorate long term. So I assume Watch Center World just gonna win on a tiebreaker here once it hits 2,000 turns with more soldiers. Although maybe if they don't have something built into their code for building soldiers on a tiebreaker, Yohu might be able to pull something out.
Seems like every time Yohu tries to send a miner to mine these lead areas, it gets killed by Watch Center World soldiers immediately.
Yeah.
So it's like the same scenario where if anyone steps into this area, it gets killed very quickly because there's soldiers on both sides. This is a pretty cool dynamic.
Backing off though for a second there. Yeah, it looks like teams just throwing their soldiers into this little wall here, and whoever tries to cross first just dies instantly. That Archon is getting whittled down though, but
yeah, we'll see if it'll last 300 rounds.
Not fast enough to actually.
We're approaching 2,000 singularity.
Yeah, Watch Center World just actually a pretty close number of soldiers. Maybe if Yohu pulls out a last minute soldier spawn and Watch Center World doesn't have that coded in, they'll win off a soldier tiebreaker.
I think the tiebreak is just like total amount of lead you have. So if
Yeah.
you hold it in your reserves, it counts. So I believe Watch Center World won this off of tiebreak for having more lead. Yep, they do have a little more lead and a little bit more troops. Close game. Next we're on to Dodgeball again.
Looks like Watch Center World taking control. Nope, looks like Yohu's rather has control here, moving in with some soldiers. Looks like Watch Center World is putting up a pretty good fight for the middle here, moving their Archons closer so that it's a better fight for them. Soldiers need to run less distance to get their healing in. So yeah, Yohu losing control of the center here. Archons are starting to move up just so that they can heal their soldiers in the middle of this fight here, but Watch Center World has already moved their Archons up, so they're a little bit ahead on the steps here. So unfortunately for Yohu grabbing control of the center and using that lead to their advantage. Yohu managing to sneak a miner into the bottom left and grab some lead from Watch Center World's deposit. Watch Center World is ahead in lead at the moment, and they just cashed in on a bunch of soldiers. So losing control of the center, actually. Lots of soldiers just waiting to be healed. It looks like Watch Center World likes to run away once their soldiers are at around like 30% health or so, and retreat to an Archon where they wait for healing. And Yohu taking advantage of this momentary opening while soldiers are waiting on rotation to be healed and actually pushing into the center to grab resources, reversing the lead lead.
And Yohu grouping.
If they don't push in fast enough, Watch Center World is going to be able to heal up these soldiers and return to the center.
Yeah, Yohu also found that lower rubble area for their Archons.
Lots of these games actually going down to the micromanagement of troops, depending on what strategies you have on soldiers running back when they should go for healing, how close Archons are to the fight. Lots of these things being a pretty big deciding factor in who wins fights here. And Yohu actually really far up with the Archons, defending these lead deposits in the middle. Center World soldiers are on healing to be here, just sitting and waiting to be healed by Archons. So
Yeah, it seems like a pretty close fight, and it seems like they have similar strategies, just like we saw in the previous map.
Center World suddenly spiking on lead after cashing in on some lead deposits, I believe. I guess we'll see whether waiting for your soldiers to be healed or just suiciding your soldiers into battle and building new ones is a better strategy here, since It looks like Yohu prefers grabbing these lead deposits, while Center World prefers healing up these soldiers before returning to a fight.
If it does end up going to a tiebreak, though, those low-level soldiers are going to be really strong.
Yep. It looks like Yohu's building up a very strong offense here, though. And these are high health soldiers that can basically instantly kill these low health soldiers if they rush in at the same time.
Yeah, it seems like Yohu's lead income is really spiking as it pushes forward through this minefield of lead, or where they had a lot of fighting, so there's a lot of more lead to farm.
Yeah, watch Centerworld just banking a bit too hard on a heal soldier strategy, and those soldiers are all waiting to be healed, but the Archon healing rate is just much smaller than the damage rate.
Now we are onto the Snowflake map again. Let's see if they both move their Archons away from the high rubble, low passability areas.
Yep. Looks like I believe watch Centerworld trying to do so. I think both of those Archons are in portable mode and finally moved out. Yohu, one of their Archons are in portable, waiting to move out, while the other is just staying put. I think the soldiers are doing a little dance as they wait to be healed. Fidgeting around. One of the Archons up above being discovered and actually about to be eliminated by Watch Center World. Probably going
extremely early Archon elimination.
Yeah, probably cashing that gold. Actually, just completely ignoring the gold and just going for a rush on the next Archon. Really employing an offensive strategy.
Seems to be working though.
Yeah, Yoku just with one Archon left being attacked over the walls while not really able to build up a strong economy. And Watch Thunderworld, I think, takes this game 1-3.
Yep. So Watch Thunderworld wins 3-1. Congratulations. Even though the final score is 3-2, so it was a very close match. And next, I believe, is this the semifinals now? I think this is semifinals now. We have
on to semifinals.
Hardcoders versus Producing Perfection. Hello, Jerry.
Getting word that it's actually pronounced Yoho and not Yohu. So
thank you for correcting us.
Looks like we're starting on the Snowflake map.
Wait, where did they say that? It's not in chat. Is it on Discord?
It's in chat. It's in chat.
Oh, is it far up? Wow.
Yoho?
Chax Max. Yeah, Yoho.
How's it Yoho? There's like 7 O's in the name.
You know, some people just spell things differently from you, Jerry. Just because you're from Australia. No, I'm kidding.
Wow.
You should know about
for
spelling
those of you
things
that
wrong.
don't know, we joke around about how things are pronounced a lot because Australians pronounce things differently from Americans. And also they spell things differently.
Yeah.
Jerry, how do you spell color?
You know, when writing the scrimmage runner and everything, we tried really hard to make sure that colors, whenever we talked about a team color, there was no extra U anywhere. It was very hard. It was very tempting to just slip in an extra U.
I'm very glad that you were able to, you know, learn the correct way.
Wow, excuse me.
Yeah, and as we were talking, red took over, so
yes, the red color won.
Hardcoder's just wrapping around. Oh, new map.
Ooh.
Collaboration. Wow, 4
Oh, this is the one that we never saw, even though it was run in the last round. See, this is why we reuse maps, because you can never see it anymore.
Ending in
an army of blue Archons advancing towards the right.
Yeah. Although being hit by the soldiers over the wall here looks like Producing Perfection sort of looking around in this maze while Hardcoders is budging towards the center of the map. It's like Hardcoders taking the lead here, although lots of their units are miners, so
the Archon's getting attacked.
Yeah, they only have 2 soldiers. So if Producing Perfection does a soldier rush now, they might be able to eliminate some of this lead.
How much health does the Archons have? I don't remember.
I think it says on the very top.
They have 600 at level 1, but if they upgrade them, they can have a lot more than 600.
I think we've seen one team upgrade their Archons, although I wasn't sure if that was an actual upgrade. It looks like Producing Perfection rushing in with the soldiers while Hardcoders just
Yo, this Archon, they just gave up on this one.
Yeah,
They don't even
abandoning
mind
Archon.
gold. They're just going for the other ones.
Yeah, Hardcoder is really just rushing with a very high soldier count, while producing perfection rushing with a high soldier count, while Hardcoder is favoring more miners early.
And I believe this match is over, or this game is over. So now we move on to the next map. This one is called Spying. I guess this is like part of someone's spying possible.
I wonder if we're gonna see people hold the walls on this map again, like in the tower map. It looks like people are trying to cross the rubble, but if producing perfection just sticks a bunch of soldiers on the other side, they can win a numbers game here. Even though Hardcoders has like 10 soldiers, that's high rubble, whereas producing
Can they see? It seems like they can see the soldiers on the other side, so they're not advancing until they make a bigger army.
Yeah, luckily not just
smart.
blitzing in, since producing perfection with low rubble probably going to win that fight.
Yeah, it seems very difficult to attack here.
Meanwhile, producing perfection chasing out some of the miners of Hardcoders on the side, grabbing these deposits on the side, whereas Hardcoders just building a huge army, but fighting a losing terrain battle here with the.
Yeah, it seems like Hardcoders is investing a lot of resources into these soldiers who are just getting instantly deleted once they go into this 90 rubble area, while producing perfection has their soldiers on these 0 rubble
producing
area.
perfection grabbing a lot of miners early really advantage on these defensive maps where they can just hold a point, whereas Hardcoders winning out on the more offensive rushing maps where building a ton of soldiers early seems to work.
Yeah, this defense looks strong, but last time we saw the defense couldn't be converted, so we'll see what happens this time.
I'll speed it up a little bit more since seems like there's a stalemate going on for now.
Yeah, I think we're just going to see both sides. Actually, producing perfection starting to enter the rubble here. Maybe this is going to end up being their demise.
Yeah.
Hardcoder just depending on the low rubble side. Looks like the tables have turned and producing perfection is luckily not rushing in for them. But Hardcoder is just holding a very strong defense here.
It's just the same situation as before, but reversed.
Yep. Tons of lead in the middle here that nobody can actually grab without getting killed by the opponent.
It's the same as the tower map.
Yeah, it looks like we might end up hitting turn 2000, and if Hardcoders isn't able to turn it around, I think producing perfection is just going to win off of the lead here. The lead in
definitely looks like that might be what happens because they're mining some of these areas. They have a lot more miners going around, and the ones taking this top right lead deposit.
Yeah, producing perfection able to build up lead deposits close to them, and then like leaving a wall of soldiers right outside of Hardcoder's reach while mining lead behind that wall.
Yep, and now we are approaching round 2000. Singularity about to fall upon them. And congratulations, Producing Perfection, for winning this map on tiebreak. Oh, it's a panda map.
It's like a really big map. I wonder if maybe this favors Hardcoders, if they're able to just rush the opponent.
The Archons are far spread out. I believe they started here and here. This Archon is already advancing into enemy territory extremely quickly.
Yeah, it looks like because of
this one's coming too. They didn't see this big light deposit, or they did. They found it. They found it, and then the Archons just went into the enemy territory.
It looks like Producing Perfection and Hardcoders at an impasse, since both of them have Archons face to face, just healing the soldiers during the fight. The Producing Perfection winning the fight just because they have more soldiers.
Actually, this is pretty smart. Look at this. Look at this. They have the miners around the lead deposits on like the low parts of the low rubble area, so I can like mine much quicker than these that are sitting inside.
Yeah, and they're leaving one there to just grab the.
Oh no! The Archons that blitz themselves.
Yeah, we lost the Archon on the right, and now Producing Perfection just mobbing Hardcoders with tons of soldiers. I think this might be a wrap with Hardcoders not allocating enough miners to grab up all that lead.
Yep. Well, they just have like, I don't know, 7x number of miners. So congratulations to Producing Perfections. You are now advancing to the finals. And I believe this is the other semi-final round, 5 Musketeers versus Centaur World. Once again, starting on the Snowflake map. This one has a lot of anomalies coming in very early.
Looks like nobody moved. Actually, watch Centaur World trying to move out their Archons already, while 5 Musketeers leaving their Archons where they are, except for one of them apparently, which is running across the map. Watch Centaur World just grabbing control of this bottom side here. Healing up their soldiers. Looks like Watch Centaur World just likes to heal up their soldiers at around 30% health and just have a long queue of soldiers to be healed.
Looks like they're gonna lose that middle Archon though.
Yep. 5 Musketeers very strongly holding a center bubble. Almost all the lead in the map actually mined out except for the lead from dead units. Maybe if 5 Musketeers can take out that Archon.
There's a sage. I like the sage. That's okay. I'm gonna slow it down just so I can click on the sage. There. Okay, I got it.
Yeah, I wonder if it'd be pretty cool if the sages actually had a healing ability. Now that I think about it.
Oh, AOE heal your entire army.
You see the
So
sage is
broken.
actually just camping the back here with the soldiers, and the soldiers are just waiting to be healed. So maybe something like that would be pretty interesting.
Dude. All right. If we make sages do AoE heal, I'm sure a lot of people will build sages. Imagine we should make the watchtowers do AoE heals, and then people will build watchtowers.
So many
looks like
units,
Watch
but
Center World is just. It looks like there's actually a pretty high rubble area between the two areas, so Watch Center World is having trouble pushing in.
Oh, a vortex just happened. The map just rotated or something.
Yeah. Looks like 5 Musketeers losing control of their defense here.
Hey, they had sages too, but it wasn't enough.
2 sages can help defend.
Hey, they won. They won on the tiebreaker.
Oh, the time
Gold.
ran out. Okay, 5 Musketeers.
Oh, because they had more gold because they had
gold.
2 sages instead of 1.
yeah, read the spec.
And
guys.
they also
Gold
holding
tiebreaker
on
first.
to one laboratory, camping that right side.
Hey yo,
to break the
sages are good, guys. Build sages, stack archons. No, I'm just
So,
kidding. Don't do that.
5
Or
Musketeers.
maybe you can do that. Might be good.
Yeah, 5 Musketeers barely defending them, winning off of the gold tiebreaker. Wonder if we'll see something similar. There's a lot of good places to place laboratories here, and maybe they'll be able to hold a strong defense on a small map and win off that again.
Is there only 1, 2 lead deposits? Oh wait,
Yeah,
no.
it
Oh,
only
these
has a
lead
few
deposits
lead-
are from people dying. It's from the droids dying.
Okay, so 5 Musketeers, Watch Center World just completely mined out their lead. So if they don't get an immediate push now, they might be doomed on the lead generation in the future. While
Yeah,
5
like very
Looks
soon.
like 5 Musketeers went over and mined all of Watch Centaur World's lead because there was that blue miner.
Oh, is that what happened?
Over and just ate it all up.
Really? Oh,
Yeah,
I
the ones
didn't,
that
I think that's
like
what
the ones
happened.
on the
happen,
side.
actually.
Yo, that's smart.
Really smart strategy, grabbing all of those. The 4 Archons grouped together, just winning fights because,
They get to
They're
heal
all
the same soldier.
yeah, really high healing in the fight. If Watch
Yeah, well,
Center-
over here the healing is like really spread out.
yeah, if 5 Musketeers can hold off this push, I think they'll end up winning from the lead income behind them. But if Watch Center World are able to push into that opening, they might end up being able to take the lead in the map.
Looks like the fight's just breaking out over here. They still have all these lead deposits, but they're not mining it that well.
Yeah, four
Both teams have
Archons
really
grouped
low lead
together-
income.
Yeah, 4 Archons grouped together, really amounting a strong defense on both sides. Now Watch Center World seems to be on the defense here. Soldiers on the side waiting to be healed. 1 miner just on the right side. Lonely miner wandering around looking for
It's
lead.
looking for lead, but it's failing.
All gone.
Oh no, they missed all this.
Watch Center World just waiting for a lot of these soldiers to be healed, while 5 Musketeers just replenishing their soldiers by building new ones.
Yeah, all of these soldiers are just lining up to get healed.
Actually, it looks like they're discounting a lot of their healing since they're grouping at the upper area where it can't be healed by all 4 Archons. And that bottom Archon is not healing anything. While the top-
Yeah, if the soldiers came like down here, then it would be
Oh,
much more
soldiers healed up.
efficient.
Yeah, unfortunately finding less efficient areas to heal than
Hey,
they
it's
could be.
moving. This bottom Archon that wasn't doing anything has decided it's done doing nothing.
Yep. Looks like mounting a strong defense. Watch Center World has a lot of soldiers pushing in, while 5 Musketeers, not as many soldiers, only 7 soldiers compared to 16.
This lonely
Holding.
miner that just doesn't want to do anything anymore. Oh, this one is this
We
another
got
team
the-
with the
We got
pathfinding
the back
bug?
and forth
Just
bug
stand-
was looking for gold lead. Looks like 5 Musketeers able to defend and now grabbing a really good lead deposit for themselves from the dead soldiers of Watch Center World. Watch Center World just has so many more soldiers than 5 Musketeers.
But they're all waiting to be healed.
Yeah, all the soldiers are low health though, so
Like
it
most of
doesn't-
these soldiers aren't even dying. They just get healed when they get low health. I think this
Yeah.
might be another tiebreaker match.
Yeah, and
I think
We'll see
Yeah,
Watch
but no
Center
one
World
has
is-
sages this time. No one has sages this time.
I think,
I think their
5
strategy-
Musketeers actually emergency builds like laboratories close
Right.
to the end to grab some gold to win tiebreakers. I think
Which
that's
is
what
smart.
happened in the previous
Guys,
match.
Dev's telling you to meta strat right now. Build labs.
So build labs. I think they might slap down a laboratory with like 200 or 100 rounds to go to win a gold tiebreaker if they can hold
No,
it.
but
Yeah,
actually
let's see
though,
what
like
happens.
if you have strong defense and you don't think you're gonna get like killed very easily, like
Oh,
are
so
they
we see
doing
the
it?
builder.
Are they doing it? There's
So
a
I think
builder.
they're gonna win off the gold tiebreaker again here. If that builder is able to just drop a lab and then the lab produces. Okay, so we see the
A single
lab
gold,
is
a
producing
single
a
gold.
single
Oh, there's
gold.
a lab. Oh, they have it. They have it. They built it when there's like 200 rounds left. Okay,
And
come
that's
on,
the
come on.
tiebreaker.
Oh, they have gold
Musketeers.
now. Okay, they're gonna win. They're
An
probably
amazing
gonna
late game. Oh, if they lose an
Oh, if
Archon,
they
they
take
won't
the
win though.
Archon, they win there.
So watch
Oh,
Center World
no.
last
There was
minute.
so many
It was
so
so
Lightning
close.
and
It was so
Archon.
close. If they kept
So
that Archon
close.
alive, they 100% win.
5 Musketeers with an amazing late game strategy, but then
Oh,
just
one
losing
more
hold of
Archon.
one of their Archons because they're allocating resources to the lab.
Okay, you know what? Sometimes it happens.
I think 5 Musketeers would have won there if they just had the Archons run away at the very end.
Yeah, actually though,
Yeah.
like just move away while the soldiers are chasing.
There's only a few turns off.
So now we have 1-1. Exciting
I
match.
think we're going to end up with a repeat with the defense. Watch Center World just holding on to this low rubble area. I wonder if this map, if a map would be really interesting if you had these low rubble areas like oases in the middle of these high rubble. Terrain.
Ooh, map
they
idea
can
for
sort of
next time,
hold on to,
guys.
like these mini bases where they can leave a few soldiers. Maybe that's some tips into what's going to show up in the next tournament.
Maybe. I don't know, man.
Looks like 5 Musketeers really just losing a lot of soldiers to. Actually, if I remember correctly, I think the same thing happened with 5 Musketeers in the previous set of rounds, where they were trying to cross these high rubble areas with a lot of soldiers, and they weren't able to do so. And they ended up winning from, I think, the gold tiebreaker at the very end. They must have slapped down a lab when we weren't looking. But if this runs long, then Watch Center might actually be able to push in. If not,
Hey,
I
it's
think,
an intelligent strat.
I think 5
I
Musketeers.
was so proud to see that they actually did it. You know, we were talking about, we're like, you should do this, and then they actually did it.
I think 5 Musketeers is actually gonna win with that strategy here, since this map seems to go to tiebreakers with nobody able to cross that wall of rubble and nobody pushing in from the side. And 5 Musketeers with a really secure Archon up there, just able to put down a lab at the very end and win with the gold.
Yeah, I'm just gonna speed it up a little more to see if I want to see the lab. Yeah, it seems like this game is a steady
Look at
tie
those
where it's
soldiers.
alternating between like who's
That
on
is
the
a lot of
spying.
soldiers. Yeah, looks like 5 Musketeers winning with that one lab in the corner there. Just gonna
Hey,
roll
let's
and just win the
go!
tiebreaker.
Hey, let's go! Go Tyreek! Okay, I'm too excited about this.
5
Now-
Musketeers, very intelligent late game strategy here with the tiebreakers.
Our deepest apologies for spoiling your meta strat to everyone else that is watching stream right now.
I wonder. I think this map. I think the larger maps with less terrain tend to go away. Tend to not go to tiebreakers though.
That's
since
true, yeah.
Yeah.
Harder to mount a defense when there's so many angles and so much lead to grab. Watch Center World just stealing all of the lead of 5 Musketeers in the top side.
Oh, look at this.
Those two miners just running and just exhausting the deposits fully because they see enemy troops nearby. I think they were doing the same thing a while back on the highway map, Or
Yeah,
sorry,
Teams have
on
moved their Archons up very far. Oh no, the Archon got demolished.
5 Musketeers, unfortunately, overextending. New
All
map.
right,
I don't
Stronghold.
think we've seen this.
Looks like 2 dumbbells to
I
me.
think this is going to be a 5 Musketeer wins just off the look of it, since it seems like a very good map to hold defense on.
And then build labs.
Yeah, I wonder if 5 Musketeers just
building a stronghold, as you one might say.
It looks like 5 Musketeers moving their Archon over, just going to group the 2 Archons so that one doesn't die off and lose a tiebreaker from that.
Pretty smart.
Keeping
Although
the
we
Archon
see
together.
Center World also advancing their Archons, both of them actually, towards
although-
5 Musketeers base.
In
Center,
contrast,
well, the blue Archon down the bottom sort of like trying to pad through that rubble and not really being able to find a way through it.
yeah.
Fortunately, 5
contrast
Musketeers is
to,
not finding this large lead area that Center
Yeah.
World has claimed. Oh no.
In contrast to the spine map, lots of resources on this map and lots of angles to attack from. So even though they
Rough.
have a very nice wall to defend, they don't have the resources.
That's
to
the
hold
second
it.
Archon.
All right, congratulations, Watch Center World. You are also moving on to the finals. So now this is the finals between Producing Perfection and Watch Center World. So we will start with this panda map again. And guys, it's time to place your bets. Who do you think's
Producing
gonna win?
Perfection with a really smart lead strategy, I remember, while watching the world. Actually doing something similar, but moving their Archons up a bit more aggressively. That Archon is just getting hit.
Oh
by
no, it's
Oh,
getting
no.
killed already.
Okay.
Oh no, oh okay, it made some
It
soldiers
looks like,
defended itself.
actually watch Center World just grabbing the lead resources from Producing Perfection in the bottom before getting
God
killed
damn.
off. Looks like those miners are actually on high rubble.
Uh-oh.
As efficiently.
Producing Perfection didn't move their Archon, so I think Watch Center World knows exactly where to find them.
Yeah,
And
and I think
are
Producing
slowly
Perfection-
inching up. Yeah, these two just look like they're here to target these 2 Archons.
Yeah. I think
Soldiers lining up to get
one
healed.
Archon each and then just just overwhelming them with soldiers here. Producing Perfection, not producing enough soldiers to defend their Archons. Although
Yeah, and
they are winning the
also Center
bottom-
World has a lot more miners mining the big lead deposits. Oh, this one got completely mined out.
I think they might end up trading sides here, although Watch
Oh my
Center
goodness,
World
look at
holding
this.
onto their lead deposits are gonna be able to win in the long run here. But
Yeah,
looks
the
like
bottom
Producing
panda is
Perfection-
completely basically out of lead.
Yeah, but I think Producing Perfection might win this fight on the bottom left, and never mind. It looks like Washington will just overpowering them with that Archon healing.
Yeah, and just because they have a lot more lead, right? So they can just spawn a lot more units.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, so watch. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was just saying. I think Centaur World got some of that lead from the beginning, right?
Yeah, watch Center World just using an aggressive miner
There's
strategy
a sage.
and running over and stealing deposits.
There's a sage.
How did that sage? Oh, I see. They took out a.
Because
Archon.
they killed this Archon and took the gold.
They lost their own Archon in the process, though, on the right side.
However,
Yeah.
this match is gonna go in the favor of Watch Center World.
Seems like we're getting a lot of different kind of miner strategies with exhausting enemy deposits. Looks like Producing Perfection just nudging their Archons to low rubble areas. Watch Center World doing the same thing, although moving that left Archon a bit more aggressively. I think Watch Center World just grabbing control of the center here with the Archon healing on soldiers. And winning.
Seems like this Archon. This one seems to be deciding between portable and turret mode. It's been like alternating. Okay,
I think
looks like it's settled down.
Watch Center World just making much better use of the actual Archon movement and grouping them near injured soldiers, whereas Producing Perfection just leaving the Archons in low rubble areas and not pushing forwards with them.
Yeah, it definitely seems more advantageous to be near the lead deposits, although these areas are much more easy to defend. Because look at these, it's happening again. They can't cross. They can't cross. On both sides, they can't cross the high rubble area.
Although, as we saw last match, you're able to overpower the opponent if you sneak around the side. Because you can attack from multiple angles.
Yeah, but Watch Center World has all these lead deposits that Producing Perfection doesn't have access to.
Yeah, and you can see their miners
see over
in
here,
the back.
The gold income, I mean the lead income difference.
Yeah, the miners and actually producing perfection winning the fight because of the Archon healing, but losing lead because watch Center World, the back miners are actually not exhausting these lead deposits, but I think as soon as they see an opponent, they just start exhausting them so that the opponent can't grab that lead. Possibly exposing strategies, but I guess you can sort of see the strategies happening in real time here anyways. Yeah, just meta.
Right.
Yeah, it looks like there's just much better like lead and Archon management here with the Watch Center World.
Hey, the two miners chasing each other around. Reducing perfection. Oh no, one of them got killed.
Oh no. I think for reducing perfection, actually able to hold the defense here and watch Center World just attacking from one angle over the wall, not able to.
They have the same number of soldiers, almost the same number of soldiers.
Yeah, and they have a very similar amount of lead too. I'm wondering if maybe Watch Center World is burning a lot of cash into these soldiers that are just dying over the wall.
It does look like it. It looks like both of them are.
Although I think on this map, you can still hit soldiers over the wall even if you're not standing on the rubble.
Yeah, because there's the rubble is only 2 wide instead of 3. And we're approaching the end of the match. It looks like it's going to be a tiebreaker.
The last minute gold drop here, so we'll end up with a Watch
Center World winning with the lead. Lead lead because he has more units alive. All right. Next, we have equals map.
Is the finals best of 5 or is it best of 5 as well?
Yeah, I think so.
It is. It's best of 5.
So producing perfection has to take this match for them to move on to a. So I guess we'll either see Watch Center World close it out here, or producing perfection trying to reverse sweep. I don't remember who was I think producing perfection was the one who reversed sweep in the past, but I don't remember.
All right, I'm rooting for producing perfection because reverse sweeps are always interesting. Unfortunately, it does not look like it will go that way.
Really dominating the center, grabbing all of the lead and just using this as passive economy here while producing perfection is not able to hold on to these lead deposits.
Hey, the soldier got healed though.
I think Watch Center World is sneaking in miners. You can see that miner in the bottom left trying to sneak in and grab lead and then just destroy the economy of producing perfection and producing a perfection, not employing a farming strategy. So once those lead deposits are gone, they're gone forever. Able to chase out the aggressive.
It's a similar strat where these soldiers can't really cross this high rubble area.
Yeah, although it looks like they broke into
this one is gone. Right. Oh no, they're coming. Oh no. Hey, there's a sage because they killed
and now
the
they can just
Archon.
rush all at once, and they have a sage too. It looks like Watch Center World just closing this one out.
All right, congratulations, Watch Center World, for being the winner of Sprint 2. Yeah, so I think that's it. Jerry, do you have any announcements?
That's a double win for Watch Center World. They're Sprint 1 champions as well, so congratulations for taking home both Sprint tournaments.
Jerry, do you have any announcements? When do submissions open again? I think someone was asking in Discord.
Great question. We should open them up. I think we're working on opening them up as we speak, and we'll also be releasing all of the maps as well. Stay tuned for a balance update, which will be coming out shortly as well. But yeah, so all of that will be coming out very, very soon. Thanks everyone for coming along, and congratulations again to Watch Center World for taking home both sprint tournaments.
All right, bye everyone.